Welcome to Receiving Love, a transcendental YouTube channel. The information in this particular video comes via the website in5d.com and the author's name has been withheld by request.
The secret story never told. It's been hidden from mankind forever and great lengths are still taken to keep it hidden from us. This is the story of a journey that something inside of your body makes every month. And once this happens to you, awareness and comprehension are increased 1,000-fold. This story has been hidden from you by myth, allegory, metaphor, and deception. This is an esoteric truth and comes from very ancient wisdom. There's a thing in your brain called the colostrum, and modern science is still not too sure what the colostrum does. Sir Francis Crick once published an influential review proposing the colostrum as the seat of consciousness as he had discovered the truth of its existence. When a human child reaches about the age of 12, this colostrum produces an oil, a very sacred oil. In ancient Greece this oil was known as the chrism, the Christos, or ichthus, because they said it was oily and had a fishy smell. When the colostrum secretes the oil it makes a journey down your central nervous system, your spine, and ultimately to the bottom portion of the spine, the sacrum. Most humans are born with 33 vertebrae and as they age the vertebrae start to fuse in the lower portion and form the sacrum and coccyx. Could the story of the fall of man come from the descending of the oil? As it settles in this sacred place, the sacral plexus, the 5 fused vertebrae of your spine, it then begins its return journey, the ascension if you will. The oil must return up the 33 vertebrae, and while it's making the journey, and before it reaches the 33rd, it crosses the vagus nerve. This amazing nerve, called the 10th cranial nerve, as there are 12, touches all the vital organs of the body. Damage to this nerve accounts for a lot of different diseases within the body. This nerve can only be healed through chanting. Perhaps a reason chanting is so prevalent in your ancient religions. After it crosses the vagus nerve, it enters the hypothalamus. Here the sacred oil is mixed with serotonin from the pituitary and with DMT from the pineal gland. And here in the hypothalamus, it sits for 2.5 days, just as the sun does on December 22nd, and arises December 25th. Just as in the story of Jesus in the tomb, inside your body, the Christ, the chrism, the ichthos, the oil, the sacred secretion that comes from the colostrum and makes the journey up the 33. The Santa Claus, Trum, that brings great gifts from the North Pole. Serotonin was known as milk and DMT was known as the honey, and hence the land of milk and honey, and combined they were known as the manna from heaven. The sacred oil is now transmuted into this new substance of the Christ within, and then arrives at the very top, the crown, and touches the optic thalamus, which is esoterically known as the third eye. It is here where it is exploded into 1,000 lights, and pure consciousness, enlightenment is reached. The ancient Egyptians called this the light of the world, as they understood its power. It feels like one is glowing and radiant. Everything in the body that was asleep is now totally awake. It's an incredible experience that is truly indescribable. Some of our stories, celebrations, and history are allegories about this journey, this wonderful, indescribable journey that happens inside you each month when your moon sign crosses the sun sign of your birth. Go back and reread your holy books and stories and look for the allegory of this story. The ancients were able to live for thousands of years by preserving and conserving this sacred oil and transmuting it so that it reaches the optic thalamus. The oil has both physically regenerative and spiritually regenerative properties. This is the story of your fountain of youth and the true story of physical regeneration. What happens is when the oil reaches the optic thalamus is that new blood is generated in the body. And in order to regenerate and produce new blood, the oil must be raised to the optic thalamus where healing can occur. This sacred oil is extremely volatile, and the ancients taught that if one could live a life of peace, harmony, and in balance with nature, that they could save the oil for the whole month. But there are certain practices that are very detrimental to this oil, for instance overeating, creating an acidic body. Alcohol and sex practiced at the wrong time, these would destroy the oil, which is known as eating from the tree of life. The ancients knew that once the oil was depleted because of poor living choices, the fleshy organism dies. Death results from using up all of the oil. This is the sacred science of Kundalini and the third eye. If you are willing to embrace the discipline required to preserve the oil created within every single one of us, the chrism which is born in the claustrum and makes the journey of the 33, then the universe will reward you with your spiritual gifts. These gifts are innate within us all, but we've lost our ability to access them. If you want to experience this holy journey, wait for the moon to be in your star sign, eat moderately, sit patiently in meditation, and don't expect the universe to gift it to you, unless you're willing to give up your television and climb out of your carnal mind. Abstain from sex during this time, and make sure your body is extremely alkaline. Eat moderately. Exercise at this point, as it helps your body to maintain an alkaline state. This is esoteric truth, and if you are Christian, Jewish, Muslim, or a member of any other religion, you were taught a different story. You were taught that the Christ is outside of you. All religions teach that the Savior is separate. Once you experience this illumination, you know the truth of your body and what it really is. I was given this gift and have chosen not to abuse it, or seek material gain from it. I believe that if more of us knew this truth, that we could overcome what is happening to our world and ourselves. This is the sacred secret which is hidden from all of humanity. And many entities that we bow to are guilty of keeping this hidden, and keeping us in this illusion because they fear an empowered populace. This illusion, that has been created so that you will not become aware of your true power, is made up of your belief systems. You've gifted your power away to this illusion in order to empower parasites that feed on your emotional energy. These parasites are not of your frequency and vibration. But they are able to access this world through human controllers in your world that are themselves controlled by this parasite. They are just puppets. These humans are motivated by a hunger for power and physical riches that can only be satisfied by the dominance over others of their species. These puppets are creating a world that is one of survival and competition, where everything is eating and being eaten, where the strong have the right to feed upon the weak. They do it for the love of money, sex, drugs, and above all, power over others. They are pedophiles, misogynists, rapists, liars, sociopaths, and evil in a variety of different exposures. They are in positions of power over our money, the media, our food supply, our government, and the healthcare systems. They go to your churches, synagogues, mosques, and other places of worship. In most cases you won't readily recognize their nature. Some may be your employers, teachers, clergy, neighbors, and relatives. You will only know them by their actions and deeds, not their words. Most of us trust the person or institution that we've learned to give the power to, the doctor of medicine that prescribes the poison, the educator that teaches us the truth that they are taught to teach us, the politicians that serve the interests of the richest bidder, the newscaster that repeats the news instead of reporting it, the bankers that keep us in debt, our religious leaders that tell us of a God that is to be feared, the scientist that creates a miracle cure that makes you even more sick, the government that writes laws to keep us in bondage. We need to question every belief system we have. Question where it came from and how you came to believe it. Then ask yourself this: is it a belief system that empowers you? Or is it a belief system that enables another? A belief system that gives you a carrot and stick, or keeps you in fear, is a system of imprisonment. How to escape the system? There are two ways to escape the system that has been created to hold you in its grips. The first way is to wake up to the journey that the oil takes in your body each month, and awaken the Christ consciousness within you. With enlightenment, you will have all the knowledge you need to banish this parasite from your life forever. The second way is to live a life of empowerment by understanding how their belief systems have created somewhat of a matrix for you to live in that keeps you in a state of fear. Fear robs your spirit of power that you will need to transcend this frequency and get out of the endless loop of recycling lives. They cannot change or prevent the divinity of your Christ within, but they can and do control your ego through the belief systems they currently have in place. These controllers invented the recycle system of your afterlife and reincarnation. Their greatest fear is that you will discover who you really are and become empowered and tell others. They wrote the stories that you have learned and believe in that are illusions. The world that has been created for you is all about power, not allowing you to know about your power and Christ within and them feeding and enriching themselves off of your fear. We have been within this manipulation for eons and it continues because they need our permission and we readily give it. They have given us through the ego, their mind, which is the mindset of the narcissist, sociopath, and psychopath. They can tap into these faults through the electromagnetics that surround us. So now you know, we are a wonderful, incredible body that has more potential than we give it. We are a mind that has been infected by an outside source and wishes to consume our entire being. We are a soul, that records every emotion, thought, happening of every existence within physicality. And we are also consciousness, which is our true self. There was no Big Bang and there was no beginning. Consciousness is the all, and contains the potentiality of everything. When consciousness turned inward and became aware of itself, we became. Consciousness is the ocean and we are the drops. We are individuated units of consciousness, and are the true self. This is the secret story never told.